Warning, photosensitivity, lights and strobes.
If you like what I do, please subscribe and click the bell so that you never miss a video. Support me on Patreon, link in the description. Kill all Nazis. That's not only the name of my trio of videos this November, it's a lifestyle and moral philosophy for an unwell, demonic world. This month's virtual exorcism continues with the classic 2001 first-person Gestapo slaughter fantastique Return to Castle Wolfenstein. Let's face it, Nazis have always been losers. Even before they lost World War II, they adopted a loser ideology. They were losers even before they started losing. That would be impressive if it weren't so pathetic. Germany was salty that they lost World War I. I understand, nobody likes prequels. Then came the beer hall push, a failure that rattled the nascent Nazis, and shoved unsuccessful painter Adolf Hitler into a jail cell. He lost everything, his ascent to power, his freedom, even half his nutsack. There is a surprising amount of speculation about why Hitler only had one testicle, and even some Holocaust deniers that claim he actually had two, or maybe even three. But I believe Dr. Josef Steiner Brin, who wrote that Hitler had an undescended right testicle and the Soviet autopsy that revealed much of the same. Is it ableist to make fun of Adolf Hitler's woeful nutsack? Yes. But the real question is, do I care in this particular case? No. Fascism more broadly has always been, and always shall be, for losers who want to cosplay as tough guys. Fascism always imagines a mythic past that did not actually exist to energize a defeated people into trying to reclaim something that has never really been there. Like Hitler's right ball. Sorry, moving on. Fascists cry sheepishly into the mirror until their reflection pats them on the head, telling them they are good boys. The fascist brain is a prison of their own making. Even after fascism's global defeat in 1945, neo-fascists never stopped playing make-believe by denying the worst atrocities of the war. History is written by the winners, but since Nazis are losers, they are eternally frustrated by their inability to reinvent the past outside of their brainwashed, naive devotees. Well, if Nazis fetishize historical inaccuracy, then we can rewrite the events of World War II as well. Not in the history books, but in fiction. Enter Wolfenstein. The first two games don't diverge from the events of World War II. We all remember the heroic and legendary escape of Stick Figure Man from the Pixel Maze, but Wolfenstein 3D pressed the Nazi occult button, and now these goose-steppers plot to create undead mutants and collect relics. Not to mention Mecha Hitler. William B.J. Blazkowicz takes no prisoners. Truthfully, Wolfenstein 3D has never appealed to me, even after several attempts. Every map is an approximation of the next map. Claustrophobia in the color teal. Stretched out hallways and flatness provide fewer opportunities for strategies besides shoot and hug corners. It's a game that feels like it's waiting to become something else, which, in a way, it was. Wolfenstein 3D is a fully realized game that simultaneously feels like a tech demo for Doom in the same way that Hovertank 3D and Catacomb 3D feel like tech demos for Wolfenstein 3D. All that changed in 2001 when Return to Castle Wolfenstein blitzkrieged onto the scene and remains the die-hard Wolfie fans' favorite in the series. Let's escape together, shall we? Return to Castle Wolfenstein strikes a flawless balance of game and cinema. Some shooters, whether first or third person, interrupt with cutscenes, sometimes far too many cutscenes. I have a fondness for cutscenes because of how they sparingly appeared in games like Blood Omen: Legacy of Kain to let you know that something important was happening. I don't need to stop every 5 minutes in Gears of War to check in on Dom, he's a lost cause anyway. Return to Castle Wolfenstein tells its story through its architecture. If the game's location is in the title, it makes sense that the plot is primarily unspooled in its surroundings. We're talking environmental storytelling, baby. Okay, the story is not entirely told in its surroundings. There are a few proper cutscenes, but they are predominantly fixated between missions.
So, advanced weapons, rocketry, chemical and biological research. Now, the occult.
Is that Tony J, voice of Judge Frollo and Necromancer Mortanius from Blood Omen? He is the cutscene king. I have to sneak around the castle because the Nazis waste me even if I turn the difficulty way down. The sneaking adds a dimension of strategy to how I tackle each room full of Nazis instead of charging in guns blazing. I don't want to be sneaking around all the time though. If I wanted that, I would load up the original Castle Wolfenstein. The guns are magnificent. Most of them are period accurate and some are not, but resemble something from the period anyway, kind of like how steampunk weaponry did not exist but conforms to the aesthetic and loose approximation of the technology of the time. I love blasting these fools, reminding them of their loser status, all while Wagner soars to a crescendo in the background. That's not the game, I just create my own soundtracks for games. There is more enemy variety than one might think. You're playing a game about killing Nazis, so you naturally assume that it's Nazis all the way down, wall-to-wall sauerkraut sandwiches. Nazis with different weapons, but Nazis nonetheless. Not so fast. In addition to the cornucopia of goose steppers, there are undead freaks all over the place, at least 4 varieties that I counted. Return to Castle Wolfenstein also includes a couple science experiments gone haywire and bosses. I am enraptured when first-person shooters actually have legit bosses. When I was playing Quake earlier this year, I was so excited when there was a boss at the end of the first part. But then the next 2 parts had no bosses. The final stage is basically all boss, but you have to battle this carbuncle in some circuitous way that felt like a big nothing. Not so in Return to Castle Wolfenstein. There are almost as many bosses as there are kinds of regular cannon fodder Nazis. This shit is fantastic. Okay, let's dive a little deeper into the fascist obsession with the past. It's their favorite period, their most cherished verb tense. In order to fool the gullible masses into following a charismatic strongman and succumbing to the most toxic nationalism, fascists spin a yarn about a mythic past. Remember when we were great? They ask each other. Don't you want to be great again? It's the again that punctuates everything, that tugs on the heartstrings. It's nearly romantic, this past, this nostalgia. It's the again that insists that there was a time when we were great. Otherwise, why would the strongman say again? Checkmate. Fascists want us to believe that we, meaning the nation, the people, the chosen few, were once supermen of righteous blood and destiny. We were kicking ass and chewing bubblegum and nobody could stop us. That is, of course, until we were stabbed in the back, or the front, or both, but we were definitely stabbed by someone. Of that we can be sure. Well gosh, we could not possibly have lost in a fair fight. Remember all that blood and destiny? Someone must have cheated us out of our fate, and I bet it's people who don't look like us and are therefore easy to identify and target. Fascists are atrocious at predicting the future. Whoever calculated that 1,000-year reign must have done so with a broken abacus. So the future's out. What about the present? The present seems to be doing well enough without fascists steamrolling through Europe. By process of elimination, the past it is. Only the past. Fascists tell us that we will bring back the past and make it both the present and the future. This is the nonsense that fascists want us to believe, and by us, I mostly mean white people. With all this in mind, it makes sense that so many Nazis in fiction are portrayed as being consumed with bringing back the Third Reich through fantasy and/or sci-fi. Sometimes Hitler has inexplicably returned, like in one of the best episodes of The Twilight Zone. Dennis Hopper wants to be the new Fuhrer, but he can't quite wrap his head around the pageantry that accompanies fascism until old half-sack himself emerges from the shadows. No explanation required. It's a warning about how easy it would be for fascism to return. Sometimes Hitler returns through cloning, like in The Boys from Brazil. Sometimes Nazis want to utilize time travel and reverse the course of World War II, and only Indiana Jones could put the timeline back together. These are fantastical and fictional, but represent the longing of real-life, modern-day fascists. In Return to Castle Wolfenstein, even though the game takes place during World War II and not afterwards, the themes are still resurrection and obsession with the past. The Nazis resurrect zombies and knights that BJ must return to the land of the dead. The final boss is a resurrected Heinrich I, also known as Henry the Fowler, who founded the medieval German state. When he returns as the final boss, he is immediately down with the latest evil. Not so fun fact, Heinrich Himmler actually thought of himself as the reincarnation of Henry the Fowler, but that is a topic for another section. In the real world, fascists did not require magic or science fiction for their return. They just did what they did before. They waited for an economic collapse, blamed it on scapegoats, and then a strongman rolled out the same great again rhetoric at the right time. Other nations performed the same old trick as well. There is no telling when people will wake up from this nightmare. It took a world war to end fascism the first time, but unless the fascistic nations make themselves targets of other nations, there is nobody to stop them except for the people within these nations. Okay, more about the game itself. Remember how I said Wolfenstein 3D's level progression looks too samey? That's gone, it's out. As you progress, BJ dives down into tombs and bunkers and actually ventures outside. Imagine that. I love first-person shooters, but some shooters designed post-Doom but before the FPS console explosion of the mid-2000s have an issue. Well, strike that. I have the issue. It's my fault. I'll explain. In that era, so many first-person shooters were keyboard and mouse only, which means playing them with a controller in 2025 is a real pain. I prefer playing with a controller. Don't judge me. and this preference only rarely causes gameplay problems. The thing is, if a game is designed for a mouse, the developers understandably designed the enemy movements and whatnot for ultra-quick reactions and targeting from the player. Controllers are not the best for that, so I have to play Return to Castle Wolfenstein with a mouse, and that's just never going to feel right for me. I have stupid fingers. Most modern boomer shooters take controllers into account and design the game accordingly, but this game was released in 2001. I don't have this problem with Doom because of how the targeting works on a level plane, and even though Quake's crosshair can go in all directions like Return to Castle Wolfenstein, I'm usually in such close quarters in Quake that it doesn't matter too much unless the enemy is far away. Of course, in RTCW, there are snipers, so it matters a whole lot. It sounds like I'm complaining about the game, but no, this is my fault, not the game's. The game is sensational and holds up well among today's shooters. It's cinematic while still focusing on the gameplay. It's fast-paced while still giving the player moments to breathe and bask in the atmosphere. It also has more killable Nazis per square foot than almost any game besides non-magical World War II shooters. Remember what Call of Duty was like before 9/11? But I digress.
Imagine a world where time drifts slowly. A world where music carries you away. Experience the haunting beauty of Pure Moods for Killing Nazis. Let the vibes wash over you like a cool waterfall in a mystical lake or something, because when you kill Nazis, you are baptized once again. Stomp SS officers into the mud while listening to songs with melodies that you recognize but can't quite name, like whatever this is. Look at this woman blow flowers while you blow Nazis away. Bask in the warm glow of oxygene or oxygene. Whatever your pronunciation, it spells chaos and fire for the Third Reich. Pure Moods for Killing Nazis. Made in Europe but delivered all over the world so you can take a gummy edible and chill out and watch Adult Swim. Listen to Native American music while you obliterate racist Nazi bastards and come to the realization that the United States is also fascist and is built on stolen land. This collection also has the theme from The Exorcist because the track was not written for the film, but it's like, that's how you know it, come on. Also, the X-Files theme remix because we were running out of ideas. Look, we all love killing Nazis to the tune of Nazi Punk's Fuck Off and other famous songs about how much they suck, but don't you want to be at peace while doing it instead of all worked up? The world is so hard right now, we can't take it anymore. So send a check or money order, if those things still even exist, to the address on screen and prepare to smell and hear colors. Pure Moods for Killing Nazis. The soundtrack of love. The soundtrack of bliss. The soundtrack of shooting Nazis in the face.
Movies, television series, and video games about Nazis often portray history's greatest losers as superstitious, paranoid, and bedeviled by the occult. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, the entire premise is built around this idea. The government agents call Hitler obsessed with the occult and financing archaeological digs all over the world in search of ancient religious artifacts. Hellboy in various media plays the same song. But how much truth is there to this? The Nazi obsession with the occult is both true enough and exaggerated in popular media. Heinrich Himmler, one of the main architects of the final solution, was genuinely fascinated by the occult. Hitler himself was not that interested in the occult or the supernatural more broadly, but allowed the ideas to flourish and did not stop Himmler's obsession. Joseph Goebbels hired astrologers, and parapsychologist Hans Bender conducted some occult experiments. Pseudoscience and supernatural explanations for natural phenomenon give ignorant people a sense of superiority, that they are smarter than the intellectual experts who must be lying to them. Sound familiar? In contrast, there is no real evidence to suggest that occultism was widespread among Nazi soldiers or most of the Nazi leadership. One key feature of fiction about Nazi occultism is that their beliefs turn out to be more or less correct. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, French archaeologist Belloc and his Nazi buddies are right about the Ark of the Covenant as a transmitter to God. The Nazis are also correct about the Holy Grail being real and containing the key to immortality. Sure, the Nazis are unable to utilize these holy relics to their advantage, but these relics and their powers are nonetheless real within the Indiana Jones movies. I understand why it needs to be this way, though. The Nazis have to be on the right trail or else these stories are going to be disappointing. Of course, the Nazis and their collaborators are punished for attempting to capture the Ark and the Grail. That is the moral lesson of these stories. In Return to Castle Wolfenstein, magic, the undead, and other supernatural properties are also proven to be real. BJ needs to ventilate scores of zombies and undead knights on his way to victory. That works for this game, I'm not knocking it, but it makes me pine for a different game in which the Nazis continuously fail in their search for the supernatural and their pseudoscience is laid bare as false. The Nazis were not the keepers of secret, arcane knowledge. They were consistently wrong about science, culture, everything. The Nazis were fucking dumb. Have you seen all their technological failures, not to mention their military failures? There are all these dark fairy tales about how Hitler was possessed by a demon, and it's like, you are giving the Nazi regime far too much credit. Hitler was not a supernatural devil. He was just some asshole. I want a game about how the Nazis were rock stupid. Let's make that game. If you know of such a game, sound off in the comments. When I get stuck for hours on end in Wolfenstein, I turn on God mode. I love God mode. It's great. You just tilde-bang the command prompt and type in the secret password and you can run around Castle Wolfenstein blasting Nazis in the head, spine, ass, anywhere you want. I know what you're thinking. You cheated not only the game but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing. You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked and nothing was gained. It's sad that you don't know the difference. My dude, nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares. I got news for you, guy. You didn't grow either. You played a video game. You risked nothing too. Because you were playing a video game. What did you risk? Were you playing this video game with mafiosos pointing guns at your head, but if you won, they give you $1 million? The fuck are you talking about? Claiming that there is a right way to play a video game is like claiming that there is a right way for someone else to live their life. A video game is a template for your experience, the same way existence is a template for your larger life experience. If you think that the only way to play a video game is how it is right out of the box, then I guess you have never played Fallout New Vegas or Vampire the Masquerade on PC because you literally cannot play those games without mods. Well, that doesn't count. Says who? Sounds like your dumbass worldview doesn't hold up to mild scrutiny, dude. Does that violate the game rule? Does it not? If not, why and who put you in charge of my hobby and my life? Everyone enjoys life differently, and the same goes for a game. I'm pleased when I beat the game, but generally only because now I can play a new game. I get some satisfaction from it, but I get way more satisfaction watching dudes get bullet nuked in the brain hole. You'll get more out of it if you... No, you will get more out of it. My life is played under Calvin Ball rules, and I am much happier this way. Congrats on your speedrun, but I only have so many days on this earth, and it doesn't make my life feel more complete by getting really good at Bubble Bobble. That's not what I mean. You don't get it. No, you don't get that I don't have to get it. I'm sorry, but it's weird and rigid and conservative to claim that there exists a right way to play. That's hierarchical thinking, and I'm an anarchist. Someone saying, you'll like it more if you do it my way and it's harder, is paternalistic and condescending. Nobody is sitting under your learning tree. I play games for the magical experience of living in another world. It's not a sport to me. Empathy alone should be enough to accept that someone might genuinely prefer and be more satisfied by something that would have the opposite effect on someone else. There is no rulebook, and dogs are allowed to play basketball.
My name is Lieutenant Aldo Rain, and I'm putting together a special team, and I need me 8 soldiers. 8 Jewish American soldiers.
Hey, you! We got your war! We're at the gates! We're at your door! Hey, you! We got your war! We're at the gates! We're at your door! We got the guillotine! We got the guillotine, you better run! We got the guillotine! We got the guillotine, you better run! We got the guillotine! We got the guillotine, you better run! We got the guillotine! We got the guillotine, you better run!
We wanna thank you for flying with us. We know you could've stayed home, just cried and cussed mail. Your guns go off if it's time to bust mail. Their tanks have time to rust. Take out the armies turning bullets into gold. Take out the hookers turning tricks into cold. And every time the police picks in the dough, an angel gas breaks dips in the O. And even if a D-boy flips in my O, it ain't enough to buy shit anymore. Sleep in the doorway, piss on the floor. Look in the sky, wait for missiles to show. It's finna blow, cause they got the TV, we got the truth. They own the judges, and we got the proof. We got hella people, they got helicopters. They got the bombs, and we got the guillotine.
We got the guillotine, you better run. We got the guillotine. We got the guillotine, you better run. We got the guillotine. We got the guillotine, you better run. You got the guillotine. We got the guillotine, you better run.
Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps, and I want my scalps, or you will die trying.
I just spit the dope lines. I don't snort them. Tell the boss to call police to escort them. You don't write out them lines, you just quote them. Get offline, plug into this modem. No, you can't outvote them. The rules are still golden. Only jewels we holdin' if we guard not spoilin'. If you press the ear to the turf that is stolen, you can hear the sound of limitations exploding.
In conclusion and in summation, Return to Castle Wolfenstein is my favorite Wolfenstein game, because I haven't played the recent ones. I think they were released during one of my off periods when I didn't play video games very much. Maybe I'll play those in the future, but that's not what's coming next time. The third and final game in my Kill All Nazis trilogy is Call of Duty World at War. See you soon.